Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to completely dismantle everything you thought you knew about finding your life's purpose. For years, you've probably been told that to live a truly meaningful life, you absolutely have to find this single, grand mission. Well, today, we're diving into the genuine psychology of Ikigai, and I promise you it is going to completely change how you look at your personal growth and your everyday routine.
Look, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by that viral Western Venn diagram of Ikigai, you know the one. It demands you find a magical career that perfectly combines your passion, your elite skills, what the world desperately needs, and what pays a great salary. If that's you, go ahead and breathe a massive sigh of relief. True, traditional Japanese Ikigai requires absolutely no money, it doesn't require a world-saving mission, and it certainly doesn't demand mastery. Instead, it's built entirely on an appreciation for small, everyday joys, just being present in the moment and cultivating a quiet, internal sense of fulfillment.
Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. The Western myth, 2. Satisfaction, change, and hope, 3. Resonance and freedom, 4. Actualization and meaning, and 5. Cultivating daily Ikigai.
Section 1. The Western myth. Let's clear this up quickly. That famous four-circle Venn diagram isn't actually Japanese. It was adapted back in 2014 by a British blogger who just combined an older astrology diagram with the word Ikigai. Honestly, conflating that with true Ikigai just creates immense unnecessary pressure for us.
So to find the true essence of Ikigai, we actually have to look at the work of Dr. Mieko Kamiya, who is widely considered the mother of Ikigai psychology. Back in 1966, she published this seminal book based on her psychiatric research with leprosy patients at a sanatorium, and what she discovered was incredible. Despite living in these unbelievably harsh, isolated conditions, a lot of the patients still maintained a profound sense of purpose. Her research essentially proved that Ikigai is an internal capacity for meaning-making. It's a subjective feeling, not some rigid career matrix. So the crucial point here is that Dr. Kamiya identified 7 distinct psychological needs. When these needs are fulfilled, they generate that internal feeling of Ikigai, or what the Japanese call Ikigai-kan. And the best part? These aren't just abstract philosophical concepts. They actually form a highly actionable step-by-step blueprint for our own daily lives. Let's explore how we can satisfy these 7 needs, starting with the first group. Section 2. Satisfaction, Change, and Hope. As we explore this first grouping, I want you to really reflect on your own daily routines. All right, the first and honestly most fundamental need is life satisfaction. Think of this as your baseline requirement, to feel that your life is moving in a positive direction or at least toward a better state of being. Dr. Kamiya noted that negative states of mind like chronic anxiety, fear, or resentment can actively sabotage this baseline need and just pull us completely off our path. What's so beautifully practical about this framework is that life satisfaction looks totally different depending on your personality. For an extrovert, life satisfaction might look like actively hosting a lively dinner party and juggling a dozen relationships. But for an introvert, it might be the deep, quiet satisfaction of spending an hour alone with a private crafting hobby. It might seem trivial to someone else, but to them it brings immense joy. Both of these perfectly satisfy the need. Moving on to the second need, change and growth. You know, as human beings, we inherently crave new experiences. In fact, Dr. Kamiya warned that a state of chronic boredom actually indicates poor mental health. It's a massive red flag that life has become stale. To thrive and truly feel that sense of Ikigai, we have to actively embrace change so we don't stagnate. But how do we actually find this growth day to day? Well, remember the power of the micro. Growth absolutely does not have to mean a massive life overhaul like quitting your job and moving across the world. No way. It can be as simple as trying a brand new recipe for dinner on a random Tuesday, or just changing the route you take on your daily walk. It's the conscious introduction of novelty that feeds our psychological need for growth. Okay, the third need is a bright future, which at its core is fundamentally about hope. It's that expectation that your life is going to unfold in a new positive direction. This forward momentum is what acts as an anchor. When you're going through really grueling, painful present conditions, having a future-focused purpose is exactly what allows you to endure and overcome those daily struggles. And this right here brilliantly illustrates the concept in action, setting a small, highly achievable short-term goal. Planning a weekend garden project gives you something to look forward to on a really stressful Wednesday afternoon. It fuels everyday hope and anticipation. It proves that you don't need some massive 10-year master plan to satisfy the need for a bright future. Section 3. Resonance and Freedom.
Now we're shifting from our internal feelings to how we connect with our environment and exercise our agency.
Need number 4 is resonance. This is the understanding that true purpose is rarely found in total isolation. Resonance is our inherent need for social affiliation, feeling connected to our surroundings, building meaningful relationships, and being treated with genuine acceptance by the people around us. And you can satisfy this need in deeply personal or communal ways. It might mean actively dedicating yourself to a significant other and expressing reciprocal love, or it could look like joining a local community gathering. Over in Okinawa, Japan, they form these tight-knit, lifelong social circles called amoai. These groups provide mutual emotional support that directly amplifies their daily ikigai.
All right, need number 5 is freedom. This is about having the agency and autonomy to make your own choices. But Dr. Kamiya highlighted a really fascinating paradox here. True freedom doesn't just mean doing whatever you want whenever you want. Sometimes it means recognizing that we can freely choose inconvenience. We can consciously sacrifice our present freedom for a greater future reason.
For example, willingly sacrificing your immediate free time and energy to care for a sick child or an aging family member, making that conscious, difficult choice to take on a burden out of love, that is a profound exercise of your personal freedom and agency. It gives immense meaning to your actions precisely because you chose to do it.
Section 4. Actualization and meaning. Let's move into our final grouping of needs and see how this all builds to our ultimate purpose.
Need number 6 is self-actualization. This is the desire to dedicate yourself to a unique personal cause or mission that only you can do. But again, let's take the pressure off here. Dr. Kamiya made it very clear that this absolutely does not require special world-class talents or some grand historical destiny.
Basically, self-actualization is simply the joy of everyday creativity. It's creating something that didn't exist before, which then becomes a confirmation of your own life. Keeping a modest personal journal, weaving a blanket, or just perfecting a family recipe that you cook for your loved ones, these are profound, totally valid acts of self-actualization. Finally, the 7th need is meaning and value. This is that innate human desire we all have to constantly reflect on and justify our existence. Whether we realize it or not, we are constantly asking what makes our lives valuable in the face of what we experience. To experience true Ikigai, the answers we find must ultimately be life-affirming. And people find these life-affirming answers through totally distinct, highly personal avenues. For some, it might be finding profound validation through deep religious faith. For others, it might be experiencing genuine acceptance and value from their community. There is no single correct source as long as it affirmed your existence. Section 5, Cultivating Your Daily Ikigai. Let's wrap this up and summarize why this matters for your tomorrow.
So we've covered Dr. Kamiya's 7 needs, and what that means is you now have a highly authentic, totally stress-free blueprint for your personal growth. You don't need a corporate Venn diagram to tell you your worth. So let's release that immense pressure of needing to find a grand, world-saving life mission right this second. Instead, I want to leave you with this question. What is your smallest, most immediate source of Ikigai for the day ahead? Maybe it's enjoying a really quiet cup of coffee, calling a friend, or just reading a single chapter of a book. Find that small joy, engage with it fully, and you will be walking the true path of Ikigai.